Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a makeup tutorial for the warm or true autumn seasons. If you're unfamiliar with warm true autumn, this is part of my seasonal color analysis series. So to learn a little bit more about what seasonal color analysis is, what warm true autumn is, or how to create this makeup look, stay tuned and let's get right into this video. Seasonal color analysis is where we look at people's skin tone, hair color, eye color, as well as the level of depth and contrast between their features. Today we are going to be diving into the warm true autumn color season, sitting between soft or muted autumn and deep dark autumn. Warm true autumn is going to be for those people who have a very warm golden skin tone. Their hair color is going to be a warm, rich brown, auburn, even a warm off black. Sometimes we'll even see some people with a very gingery strawberry blonde shade to their hair. Eye colors are going to be very warm amber browns with honey tones. We can see warm golden hazels as well as those warm vibrant olivey greens. If we're looking at the seasonal flow chart, every season will have an opposite or a sister palette. The sister palette for warm true autumn is going to be warm or true spring. The biggest difference is springs have a higher level of contrast, which means they will wear similar warm toned colors. However, they're going to be a little bit brighter. They're going to have a little bit more of a punchiness to them. If you are someone who is doing a warm autumn makeup look, but maybe you're going out, maybe you want to add a shot of color in, look at some of the brighter colors from the warm true spring palette and you can add a little bit to your makeup for a little bit of a pop or an accent. For this makeup look I'm wearing today, if I wanted to add a pop or an accent, a little bit of a color to it, I could even take something like a bright coral blush, pop it on the apple of the cheek, or even in a vibrant teal eyeliner and run on the lower lash line to give the eyes a little bit of a pop and add a lot of central focus and attention to the eyes. Some great celebrity examples are going to be people like Bollywood actress Aishwarya Rai, Deborah Messing, Eva Mendes, Madeline Pesh, and Stacey Dash. Now that we know a little more what is warm true autumn, let's get right into the makeup tutorial. I've already done my foundation, concealer, and powder off camera. So let's go ahead and get started with the rest of the face. I am going to start by adding a little bit of color to the eyes. Start my eye look off with, I'm going to take a dark brown eyeliner pencil. This is the Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Glide eyeliner pencil in the shade Black Coffee. I'm going to start right at the root of my lash and just draw little dots in between. Now I'm only going to take this about halfway, and then I'm going to grab a small brush and I'm going to angle it downwards, and I'm going to go ahead and buff side to side. As I have less product blend out, then I'm going to take my brush straight in and work my way side to side. So this product doesn't set all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next step before going to this side. I'm going to take my Laura Mercier Caviar Stick, and this is the shade Forbidden Rose. And I'm going to apply this right over that eyeliner shade we applied and right over our mobile lid. You can use your finger to blend this out, but I'm going to take a small, flat, synthetic brush. A little bit stiffer to help drag the product out. Once I have the shape roughly how I want it, I'm going to go back to that little blending brush. I'm going to buff and diffuse into the socket where the brush has a tiny bit of that eyeliner we applied earlier. This is going to create a third mid-tone color that will be great for laying down a little bit of socket work. We're going to add more to it, but you could easily add it here for a quick, rusty, smoky eye, which is great for any occasion. To add a little bit of sparkle to the eye, I'm going to use another Laura Mercier Caviar Stick. This is in the shade called Sugar Frost, and I'm going to use this shade to highlight the inner corner of the eyes. I'm going to use the small brush that I used to blend out the coppery shade, and I'm going to start close to the lid and then slowly start blending in that coppery golden highlight. Now, for a quick everyday look, you can easily throw in a little bit of mascara, brow, and you would be finished with your eye makeup. I'm going to show you how to dial it up a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. And this could even be a fun way to take your makeup from more daytime to an evening look. Amplify the eye makeup. I'm going to use the Kaja Beauty Bento. This is in the shade 08 Chocolate Dahlia, and I'm going to start with the darkest shade. I'm going to continue using that flat brush, but this time I'm going to use the side of my brush just to pick up a little bit of product, and I'm going to use this just to smudge right at the lash line, very similarly to what we did with the eyeliner pencil, and I'm going to pick up a little bit more as needed or desired. Now, you can blend this into whatever shape that you want. I opted to do a little bit of a wing shape because that way when I blend it out, it's going to create a little bit more of a smoky base. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of a smoky, elongated effect. That is going to create a little bit more drama, which is going to be great for our evening look. And that's another great trick I love. If you are someone who struggles using a smaller angled brush to do a winged shape, or if you find that you use a small brush like that and you struggle getting it thick enough to show, try using a flat synthetic paddle brush, something that you would use to blend your cream eyeshadows or your concealers. Using that edge to get a nice little line is one of my favorite tricks that worked when I was helping teach other people how to do a winged eyeliner. And for me personally, I find it a lot easier. Now I'm going to use my small blending brush, and when I start to blend, placing the point of the brush right between where the top of that brown shadow liner we applied is and the rusty orange lid shade is. And as I blend, I'm going to move down. That way we are just softening this line and blending it into the lid shade. Now I'm going to move a shade up in the beauty tree, in the bento, and I'm going to take the mid-tone brown. I'm going to take a tissue and I'm going to wipe off my blending brush just to get any of that residual product off. And I'm going to use this mid-tone brown shade to start adding some definition to my socket. Now, if you want to take this more rounded, you can. If you want to take it more elongated, I am going to opt for a shape that is kind of right in the middle. So I want a little bit more of a rounded look towards the center of my eye. But when I get to this outer corner, I want to extend to where the point or the tail of my brow is and that liner shape I created. And that's going to give me a little bit more of a pulled out, hazy, feline, smoky effect. Now I'm going to go to the top shimmery shade in the trio, and I'm going to use my finger just to apply this right over the center of my lid and then blend towards my inner teardrop. I'm going to take a clean, large, fluffy blending brush just to blend and meld my colors together. It's very similar to what we applied first. It's just dialed up a little bit smokier, and then we're toning down a little bit of that coppery effect for it to be more of a warm, autumnal base. Now we can add something to the lower lash line, but I want to get the cheek color on first just to see how everything is coming together. My first step for adding color to the face is that I want to highlight my skin. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Highlighter in shade 01 Highlight. When you're looking for a highlight color for warm, true autumn color palette, then you want to look for something that is going to have a true, warm, golden fill. Silver is going to pull too ashy, too cool. Let's save that for the summer and winter seasons. And then anything that is almost like a pastel golden, like a fresh kind of platinum gold, that is going to be better suited towards the springs. You're going to want more of a honey-toned gold for the warm, true autumn highlighters. Warm, true autumn being one of the autumn seasons, that means it is lower in its levels of contrast. Overtly glimmery or shimmery highlighter isn't going to be the most flattering for warm, true autumn, as it's going to throw off balance in the overall feeling and essence of the color story with it being more low contrast. So I like to apply it first, and that way I can use my blush bronzers to put this in the background but not take away too much of the shine. I'm also going to take a little bit just on the tip of the nose, a little bit on the top of the lip, right over the bridge of the nose, and we can even take some just at the tail end of the brow. For bronzer, I'm going to use a classic Benefit Hoola bronzer for warm, true autumn. This is going to be this color palette that does the best with those warm, orangey, bronzer shades. Those are gonna feel so harmonious. You ever feel like you're using a bronzer and it's peachy and it just doesn't have that same intensity, or it feels too bright for the skin? That peachy bronzer could be better suited for a spring seasonal palette. Your warm, rich, golden amber bronzers are going to look really, really lovely on warm, true autumn, reminiscent of amber. They're going to do so well for autumn as they are not super saturated. They don't have that clarity like a peachy or a coral bronzer would. They're a little bit more muted and subdued like the autumn season. I'm also going to take a little bit just over the bridge of the nose. You can even tighten a little bit here and right over the chin and the neck. I'm going to go back to that fluffy brush I used to do our final blend in the socket, and I'm going to take my bronzer and work that right. After I go back and forth like a windshield wiper a few times, I'll slightly angle my brush up and do little buffing circular motions. That will help to further extend the color up, and then I'll even take a little bit more and run it right under my eye. You can see that just adds that nice harmony between face and eye. And then something else I like to do is I like to take my bronzer brush and press on my eye, and we're using the residual product from our brush to further blend it out. So if we look at this side compared to this side is just a little bit softer. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know how much I love to layer blush. Up first, I'm going to be using a blush from a Korean beauty brand called The Same, and this is the single blusher in the shade Naked Peach. So I'm going to start with this blush right on the front of the cheek. This shade is a great example of a pinky blush shade for a warm true autumn. It is a peachy shade, but it's more of a pink peach. This would have a similar effect like the Dior Glow blush would do for a summer skin tone. I also like to take a little bit of that blush shade and run right through the sides of the forehead, into the hairline, nose, and chin. Next blush is going to be a little bit deeper, but this is a blush I feel like all warm, true autumns need to have in their arsenal. This is the Clinique Cheek Pop blush in the shade number 10 Fig Pop. I'm gonna use my bronzer brush and really coat that blush up. This is, the best way to describe it is a muted rusty cayenne pepper shade. I'm gonna take this on the back of my cheek, wrapping up into the hairline. I'm using quite a fluffy brush because this blush for my skin tone is quite pigmented, and it's one of those colors that can go overboard a little too quick, but it's a beautiful, warm, ready copper shade. You know, I love to mix and match different shades of blusher, and mixing shades can go for any color season palette. If you have a color that's a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, and then something that's right in the middle, you can create a really beautiful gradient of color on your cheeks, and it allows you to use more products lingering in your makeup collection. Now, if you've only got time to apply one blush, that is perfectly fine. The final blush I'm going to use to tie everything together is also from another K-beauty brand. This is from the brand Wake Make. This is the Radiant Cheek Plus Highlighter in the shade 05 Rosy Afternoon. And this is a very muted coppery brown shade. It does have a little bit of an iridescence to it. I'm going to start right in the middle of my cheek and zigzag right in between those two blushes that we applied. Using the same blush, so it's just going to mix together those other shades we were applying. Like take my blush brush and just go on the outsides of my eye, and that just is going to help tie everything in together. Now, I really love the shade of this Wake Make blush, so I'm going to take that large fluffy blending brush and I'm going to take it under my lower lash line, and I'm going to use it to tie in and blend out the outer corner of my eye. You'll see this also adds a little bit more of a coppery, rusty tone. Now, one of my favorite steps for all makeup applications, but this works especially well for anyone in the autumn color palettes or the summer color palettes, because they are both muted, they have lower saturation, they're just softer, palettes. I like to use a technique called buffing, which is where you use a powder with a low level light reflect and buff all over. One of my favorites for people with warmer skin tones is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder, which is what I'm going to be using today in the shade Light. And then I just like to pick up a little bit on a big fluffy brush and buff right over. I'll even go right over the perimeter of the eyes. This is going to help to soften and blur out. If we look at this side versus this side, everything is still in place, but it's just a little bit softer. It's a little bit more hazy. A lot of the suggestions that I gave in my videos for the summer seasons also apply for the autumn seasons. So when you are doing a smoky eye, instead of thinking about a deep, dark, rich black smoky eye, think about something with our browns in it, and think about more of a hazy or foggy eye versus a true intense smoky eye. Now I'm gonna apply a little bit of mascara. You can use whichever mascara color that you like, but for warm, true autumn, as well as most anyone in any of the autumn seasons or any of the spring seasons, they tend to do better with your classic browns to black brown mascaras. I'm gonna be using the Dior Show mascara, and this is in the shade Brown. Okay, and to finish off our warm true autumn makeup look, I'm going to apply a lip. So to start off, I'm going to use a lip pencil. This is from Revlon. This is the Color Stay Long Wear Lip Liner in the shade Sienna. So something that I've done is I have gone ahead and lined and filled in my lower lip completely, because my lip, since I'm a little bit cooler in my undertone, my color season is light summer. So colors like this are very different from my natural color. As you can see, my lip tone is quite blue. So if I just apply this as an outline, it's going to feel like I have a very warm orangey liner on my lips. So I'm going to line and fill in my lips. And if this matches, if a color like this matches your lips, it's something you don't have to do. You can just line around the perimeter of your lips. But if you're someone who is struggling with your lip color staying on throughout the day, applying a lip liner all over can be a great for extending the longevity of your lips color. For lip color, I want to choose something a little bit more on the nude side, but to help tone down this color, but I want to make sure I'm choosing something that is warm and appropriate for the warmer autumn color palette. Roman Juicy Lasting Tint. This is in shade number 23, Macadamia. And to add our final touch to our warm, true autumn makeup look, I am going to be using the Fenty Gloss Bomb Cream in the shade Fenty Glow, which Fenty Glow, whether you choose the original Gloss Bomb Luminizer, Gloss Bomb Cream, or the Gloss Bomb Heat, Fenty Glow is a shade that does really, really well for all three autumn color palettes. You know what, just for fun, I'm going to take a little bit more of the Clinique Fig Pop blush, and I'm going to apply a little bit more. Alrighty, so here we go. Here is our final warm, true autumn makeup look. All of the products and tools I used in today's videos will be linked in the description box down below, as well as on the accommodating blog post on my website. If you have any questions, or if there's anything you would like to add, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this video with a warm, true autumn friend that you think might enjoy this. Until the next video, I will see you all later. Bye, y'all.